Hello, class. Today we're going to do Notes 3.1a, which is homeostasis. So we're going to be, this is the beginning of the human anatomy and physiology unit. So please follow along, pause this as needed, and then complete some notes that will be in your binder check. This is for if you were absent or you need to come back to hear something again. Okay, so a couple things. So first, you need to know these terms. This is just some basic terminology. You need to know what anatomy is. So anatomy is the study of the form. So often they call it, they say structure. Physiology is the study of the functions of the organism. So like if we were going to study, say, the heart, which we're going to, we would look at first the anatomy. So what are the parts of the heart? How's it structured? What are the chambers? All that stuff. And then we would talk about the physiology, which is, okay, now how do those parts work together and what are their functions? What do they do for you to keep you alive and keep you running? Okay. All organisms need to maintain what is called homeostasis. As multicellular organisms, we have so many things going on that you need to maintain homeostasis, which is essentially just means a steady state. Okay, so your body, you have certain things that need to be maintained in order for your organs and your cells to work properly. Things like how much oxygen and carbon dioxide do they have? How much waste is there? How many nutrients? What's your body temperature? Your temperature needs to stay right around that 98.6 in order for all your cells and your organs and things to actually function properly. If you start to get too hot, you go into heat stroke where cells start to die and you start to shut down. And if you start getting too below that, then you go into hypothermia where your cells start to shut down. The enzymes, in both cases, think about what's going to happen. Your enzymes are going to denature, like you learned about in BioA, and your cells are going to start to shut down. You can't build anything, you can't break anything down. The cells run out of energy, they die. Therefore, too many cells die, then your organs and stuff could actually die and shut down. So it's very important that you maintain homeostasis as a living thing. Okay. Um, in humans, like I said, these are just some of them that you need to do. Things like your temperature, blood pH. So you can't be too acidic or basic. You want to stay right around that 7 area, which is neutral, give or take a little bit depending on what's happening in your body. Um, how much glucose you have in your blood, your other ion concentration, stuff like that. All right. So how does your body do this? Well, for any given variable, so like think of it having what's called a set point. The set point is kind of the perfect scenario. So like in your body, your set point for your body temperature is 98.6. Your body wants to be right around there. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to fluctuate out of that. So there are times where you might fall slightly below 98.6. There are times your temperature goes above, like when you get sick and stuff or you're working out. So what does your body do? That creates a stimulus. So whenever that changes because of either your environment, like you are working out, so now your muscles are generating more heat, which means your temperature goes up. That's a stimulus. Your body's going to read that and say, wait a second, we are too hot. Or you go outside without a jacket in the winter, like right now, and your body temperature starts to fall because you're losing heat, and your body starts to recognize that and be like, hey, you're getting too cold, our temperature is dropping. That's the stimulus. The stimulus is the change. Okay. Stimuluses are always detected by what are called sensors, and you have these sensors all over your body, in your skin, in your blood vessels, in your brain, all over, that are like little mini computers just doing nothing but taking data of how much pressure is on your body, what's your temperature, what's your pH, how much carbon dioxide, how much oxygen do you have in your blood, how much glucose do you have in your blood. And it's constantly sending this information to your brain, which reads all this, and anytime you get out of whack, it's gonna elicit what's called a response. So your brain is then going to tell your body to respond in some way to try and bring you back to what is called the set point. So like the thermostat in your house is exactly this. And what we call these, all right, is we call these negative feedback loops. Okay, the response returns the variable to the set point. That's called homeostasis, to keep you balanced. The process, how it does this, is called a negative feedback. The reason it's called a negative feedback is because you're going against the stimulus. So, like for instance, if your body temperature goes above 98.6, your body senses that. It tells your brain is going to send a response to your sweat glands to start sweating. So you're going to start sweating to try and cool you back down. So while your temperature is going up, what your body, the response is going to go opposite or against it, negatively try and bring you back to the set point. Does that make sense? There are some positive feedback loops, which are very rare, but what they do is they are called positive because they will actually continue to make the change bigger and bigger. And this happens like in childbirth. So when um, a woman goes in labor and those hormones and stuff start, it's going to like that builds. So every time it's going to continue to get more and more. The contractions get bigger and bigger. The contractions get longer and longer. So that's positive because your body's not going to do anything to bring it back. Getting ready for childbirth, it's going to continue to push forward, 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 forward until you are ready to give birth. Okay. You should have a handout now, which is an example of a feedback loop for glucose and glycogen. Real quick though, what I give kids this example is think of the thermostat in your house. Okay, so say you set your thermostat for 20 degrees. Okay, if the temperature falls and your house gets too cold, then it's going to send a message to the heater, to your furnace to kick on, and your furnace is going to pump out heat to bring the temperature back up to the 20 degrees. Now, this is going to continue to happen, meaning the thermostat continues to read the temperature and it's going to continue to tell the heater to keep pumping out heat, keep pumping out heat, keep pumping out heat until you get back to the 20 degrees. Then it's going to say, okay, now you're back where you're supposed to be, shut off heater, and then it shuts off. And then it's going to leave it like that. So this would be like your body sweating. So say your temperature gets too high, your brain's going to tell your sweat glands to start sweating. They're going to continue to sweat the whole time you're working out, whole time you're hot until your temperature comes back to normal. Then it'll tell the sweat glands to turn off, which is why you often sweat for a little while after your workout, meaning you don't get done working out and immediately stop sweating. Usually you continue to sweat for 5-10 minutes after your workout because your body is still trying to cool you down. Okay. So then kind of take a time, and what you need to do is you need to work on this worksheet that you would get from me and kind of go through this idea of how does your body maintain your blood sugar. So when you eat food and sugar goes up in your bloodstream, then how does your body kind of bring you back to normal? Or if you haven't eaten in a long time and your blood sugar drops, then what's your body going to do to kind of keep you in this homeostasis, this idea of balance? Okay, so hopefully that helped. And again, this is the notes. You need to title them Notes 3.1a Homeostasis for the binder check, and let me know if you have any questions.